Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button on this video like it's a pre-transition Ellen page, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number one looks like the creator of Minions is a male feminist and simp. He says that Minions are all male because it was difficult for him to imagine female characters being so stupid. But imagine what would happen if he said that Minions were all females because he couldn't imagine men being that stupid. There would be riots in the streets and protests. He's probably also saying this so that the woke Hollywood crowd continues to give him more work. Up next, and speaking of the craziness of Hollyweird, director Paul Feig says that Sydney Sweeney would make a great next James Bond. Maybe a Bond girl, but wokesters seem to want to race and gender swap everything. My cousin works on the HBO show Dune Prophecy, and I told her that science fiction is for men and requires a lot of action. They salvaged the first season for being called Dune Sisterhood, and the second season is filled with stuff that guys actually want to watch. Number 3, Canada's a joke of a country. This G was charged with stealing $22 million worth of gold from the Toronto airport, and he was sentenced to 4 years, and given 40 years to pay back the $22 million. Maybe they'll give him his old job back, guarding precious metals. But I'm predicting he won't pay a cent and he'll be on the first flight back to Bangalore when he's released. I wouldn't be surprised if the judge in this case was black or a woman, or maybe even a Jeet. Moving on, 75% of Gen Z thinks that desk jobs are a trap, and they're instead choosing the trades. That's great, but just wait until their bodies start to ache and fall apart. Plus, Canada's construction industry is about to collapse with almost no new homes being built. Plus, most of Canada's industrial jobs are being sent to America, thanks to all the tariffs. Young Canadians are preparing for a bad future. If they all go into the trades, it'll also put pressure on labor prices in those fields. Number 5, check out this wonderful human being. He raped a moo-moo cow, claiming that it's the reincarnation of his dead wife. This happened in Texas. Whatever you do, folks, don't let this man near your pigs. Fortunately for cows everywhere, this story is fake and just clickbait. But you know that something like this has happened before and it just wasn't reported. But the story about the cow poop festival in India, that's a real one. And that's a lot worse. Up next, here's the plot twist of the decade. Putin's daughter was found in Paris, living a secret life as a DJ under a fake name. Anyone who thinks they can take her out is probably out of their minds, as there's probably an army of undercover former KGB officers watching her. Imagine dating her not knowing who she is and then cheating on her, only to wake up to 2 black cars outside of your house. Number 7, here's proof that women don't like children, men, or the family life anymore. This one had a husband and kids but gave it all up to become an escort. Remember, guys, that a man will make money and give it to his family, but a woman will make money to leave her family. I'm also tired of hearing the feminist propaganda that all prostitutes are forced into it. They're just lying about it to score some victim points while they extract simp bucks. Later, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, was treated, and stopped escorting after that. Moving on, Marina wonders if you agree with this, that the new American dream is to live as far away from liberals as possible. That often means living in another country. The dream is also to live away from migrants too. But living far from liberals means that you have to leave the big cities because they're all over the place. Traditional liberals from 20 years ago are perfectly fine to be around. It's the modern ones who are the problem. Number 9, they say the probability of finding the true love of your life is between 3 and 5%. True love is a fantasy for children. Although the woman I was with for 10 years in a relationship was the closest I would say to having found true love. It worked because we both had avoidant personality disorder and just had passionate sex, and she was chill and drama-free for the most part. But even still these days, I would consider that way too much effort. Up next, here are the conservative versus liberal fertility rates. Sure, the conservative fertility rate is double, but it's still not near replacement levels. Projecting far enough into the future, neither of these groups will make it. People think that falling fertility has to do with people dealing with physical and financial hardships. But in reality, it's because people are spoiled and have too much dopamine and wouldn't get any pleasure from forming a family anymore. Number 11, remember guys, that most men just want peace. This woman tracked her husband after suspecting he was having an affair, but instead she found him just eating alone. She also looks like she brought those kids along so they could judge him and think that he abandoned them. I'll bet you anything that she's going to try and charge him with eating a succulent Chinese meal. He's also probably an introvert and just wants some peace for himself. Moving on, this is a school in Zimbabwe in 2026. The country got its independence in 1980 when it was known as Rhodesia. This also looks like the place the Flintstones would send their kids to school at. As for Zimbabwe, they're now returning all of the farmland to the white farmers they expropriated it from and want them back feeding the country. Hopefully those white farmers won't get fooled a second time. As for this school, they'll say that it's just somehow white people's fault that it's as bad. Number 13, doesn't she just look so innocent to you? Yeah, right. If only that butt could talk, imagine the tales that tail would tell. Looks like that AI-generated guy on the left is going hard, if you know what I mean. If only women could dress like this in court a lot more, then most of them would be found innocent. What I want to know is why Bro is taking a picture. He'll probably claim that it's evidence, but it's probably for personal research purposes. Up next, check out the top countries in history when it comes to social spending. And would you look at that? France is now closer to true socialism than the Soviet Union ever was. The more you spend on social services, the faster you collapse as a country. Nothing to see here. Move along, please. French cities are beautiful, but as an American general once said, going to war without the French is like going into battle without your accordion. Number 15, this guy does have a point when he says that it's impossible for men to cheat more than women, because a man needs money to cheat, and women only need to have a pulse to do it. Actually, it's not just money. It's about looks too. Only if the guy's pretty hot that he can cheat easily. As for women, she could be fat and ugly and she's still going to be able to cheat. I just think that men are more likely to get caught cheating because we are worse liars. Moving on, here's what it's like having that one happy moment in your life in a sea of chaos. For me, it was back in 2009 in April when I was in a long-term relationship traveling in the Southwest with her. My health was pretty good and I was making great money trading on my laptop. Everything was as perfect as it could ever be. I've had times like now where financially things were a lot better and I've traveled to better places. But it was the only time everything seemed to line up perfectly. Number 17, they say that young people need to prepare for a world where the state pension doesn't exist. I hope that state welfare also doesn't exist. Then all the enrichment types will return to their home countries of origin. Either that or they'll riot and try and burn Western states down once they stop getting their handouts. I've been preparing for a world without government pensions for 2 decades now. I'll be kind of disappointed if they still exist in 20 years. All my hard work will have been for nothing. Up next, here's the look that single moms get when they see a man in his 30s successful with no kids. And when she gets together with him, she's going to proceed to ruin his life. The last few years, even I've had a few single moms trying to weasel their way into my lifestyle. I refuse to raise another man's kids. The most I'll do is help out with a niece or nephew. But that's family relations. If I want to mentor someone, I can always become a big brother, but that's also a way to promote single mother culture too. Number 19, here's another coping strategy from the mass of black pill guys out there. They're so desperate for intimacy that they're starting to smash other guys rather than getting no action at all on dating apps. And because it's easier than dealing with women. This guy finds twinks who are DTF anytime, and they can even be cuter and more feminine than real women. This is twinksploitation, and not the way you think. The twinks are actually exploiting frustrated men. Moving on, meanwhile, on the opposite side of things, is this what God looks like listening to 6 girls ask him for the same man to act right? By that, I'm guessing they want him to commit to them. God made them hypergamous by nature. But I don't think he meant for us to use modern smartphones to wear out our dopamine receptors so much that no one would actually be good enough for us anymore. Maybe women should try not being attracted to the same guy that they all hate. Like that'll ever happen. Number 21, here's the median household income in America versus the average household price. Looks like the average home is 5 times the annual income. If you think that's bad, then in Toronto it peaked at 16 times annual income in 2022, and has now come down to around 8 to 10 times. No wonder the real estate business is dead and sale volumes have collapsed, except mostly divorced and deceased people having their houses listed for sale by force. Up next, here's a talented lady artist from Bangkok, Thailand painting herself. More like ladyboy artist, as it looks like she's perfectly captured the tucked fruit bowl in that painting. And of course, she also had to be in the picture with the painting too. They always pose like that. And it's also not called Bangkok for nothing. Women like this are going nuts for attention. And yes, pun most certainly intended. Number 23, here's more leftist insanity with the politician Maxine Dexter claiming that white milk in schools is white supremacy. Maybe white folks selectively breed cattle to produce only white milk or something. You know what else is racist? White cars and white siding on houses, as well as white napkins. Don't forget those white sheep and even white clouds. Next thing you know, even vanilla ice cream will be controversial. Here's what Democrats look like when they cling on to an argument with racism. Moving on, here's more female privilege on display. This woman falsely accused a doctor of raped and ruined his life, and all she gets is a tiny jail sentence of just 30 days. It's getting dangerous out there for men. All a woman has to do is accuse you if she doesn't like you and it's all over. So no wonder less guys than ever are even dating women. Maybe if she faced 20 years in prison and had to register as a sex offender, then that would be a good deterrent. Number 25 and the last one, here's the difference between women today and back in 2008. Times were chill. Sure, there were gold diggers, but they weren't as bad as they are today because they didn't go on the internet and compare their lives to those of influencers, and couldn't see all the material wealth that everyone else is enjoying. Today they're all tatted up and have a mean attitude, and average guys are wasted their time. Sad times indeed. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm, and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.